Hello and welcome back to our series of German learning practice sessions. My name is Jolie Nachibirango. I am your go-to person in regards to German. If it's your first time here, you are welcome. I am the go-to person in the German language because I am a student too, and I am documenting my journey here so you can catch up with me because these are practice sessions. Do not only watch these videos but also put them into practice. So what you're going to do today is a continuation of our video that we had last. So if you've not checked out the last video, we were looking at what we do professionally. So and that is in regards to Beruf. Dear Beruf is what you do professionally. So some people are teachers, some are doctors, whatever your field is. So that is what we were looking at. So if you've not watched any of that video, please go back to our series and watch. This series will be helpful if you follow them from the start. Okay, so and if that's the case, then so the other way of asking what you do or what kind of work you do, we do have what we call Arbeit. Arbeit is in German known as work. To work is arbeiten. Okay, Sie arbeiten Sie. Was arbeiten Sie? That is a question. Was arbeiten Sie? What is your job? Was arbeiten Sie? Or was arbeitest du? Because remember we talked about the informal and the formal. So in the informal, please learn with me that the informal means that you are talking to your colleagues, to your friends, or any person who is below you or at the same level that you are. And formal means that these are people who are above you. They could be your bosses, they could be your parents, anyone whom you give respect to, or that could be that is the time when you use professional, or that is the time you use the formal setting. So formal setting has a Z in it, and that is in this question, was arbeiten Sie oder was arbeitest du? So what is your job? Was means what? Was is what? So was arbeitest du is what is your job? What do you do? So you can say, ich habe einen Job als Lehrerin. If you're a teacher, ich habe einen Job als is as Lehrerin, because we talked about the Lehrerin as being a teacher who is in the upper class. So ich habe einen Job als Lehrerin, or whatever job you have, als Verkäuferin, if you're into sales, als Sozialarbeiterin, if you're a social worker and you're female, or ich arbeite als Lehrerin. So these are two ways of saying it. You have a job or you work as a teacher. So the first one is I have a job as a teacher, and the other is I work as a teacher, or I have a job as a teacher. So it means the same, but you have two different ways of saying it. So you might be also trained in something else. For example, you trained as an accountant, Buchhalterin, but right now you're into training or you're a coach. So you can as well say that ich bin Bankerin, ich arbeite als Trainer. Trainerin, that is a coach. Trainerin is a coach. So you have trained in one, but then you can say, I do this. This is my kind of job. So that is how. How about if you are unemployed? Unemployed is equal to Arbeitslos. You will hear it most of the time. Arbeitslos. That means you don't have a job, or you are jobless or unemployed. You say that sagen Sie arbeitslos. Okay, Sprechen Sie bitte arbeitslos means say after me. I was saying arbeitslos, that is unemployed. You don't have work, you don't have a job. So ich habe keinen Job, no work. That means no work. Ich habe keine arbeitet. Ich habe kein Arbeit. That means I have no work, because Arbeit is work and to work is arbeiten. So sagen Sie, ich habe kein Arbeit oder ich habe keinen Job, okay? Or ich bin arbeitslos. Ich bin arbeitslos. They all mean the same. I don't have a job, I am unemployed, I have no work. So that is if you're working, okay, if you don't have a job but you are doing something with yourself, say studying, you could say, okay, the question would go like, was studieren Sie bitte? Like, what are you studying? Or that is a formal, or the informal, was studierst du? Okay, was sprechen Sie bitte? When I say sprechen Sie bitte, I say after me, because that is how you're going to get these things. Because if you don't practice, then I don't know. Okay, so if I say sprechen Sie bitte, then you'll be like, okay, say after me, was studieren Sie? What are you studying? That is a question. What are you studying in the formal setting? Oder was studierst du? Okay, if you're in kind of professional training, you will say, because as a student you're being trained into something. I am being trained as a doctor. So ich mache eine Ausbildung als Ärztin. Ärztin, because you're being trained as a doctor. Ich mache is machen is to do or make. If we say ich mache, I do an Ausbildung in, say, journalism, Journalistin. Ich habe, then you write ich mache eine Ausbildung as, the als means as. Ich mache eine Ausbildung als Bankerin. Maybe you're training as Bäckerin. That is a person who works in a bakery, but she is female. Or, okay, if you work with a certain company, okay, if I work with a certain company, I will say ich arbeite bei. The bei, okay, ich arbeite bei the Familie. So we're saying that if you are doing some kind of training, or you're studying somewhere to train as, so ich mache eine Ausbildung als Ingenieurin. So you're training as an engineer. So I can ask, the other one was was studieren Sie? So this other time you can ask, wo studieren Sie? Oder wo studierst du? So I bring in the formal and the informal. So just know it's a trick that you can have. If it's Sie, that is formal. If it's du, that is informal. So wo studieren Sie? What are you studying? Or where? Wo is where. Was is what. Was is what. Wo is where. Wo studieren Sie? Wo studierst Sie? Wo studierst du? Wo studierst du? So if you're in a training, or you would say ich studiere in East Africa University, East African Universität, oder ich studiere. Studieren is to study, but if I am using I study, ich studiere an say if it's Bugema Universität. Universität is university or Bugema University. So wo studieren Sie means what are you studying, or where, which place exactly are you in, are you studying? So you state the place. Okay, so that also applies to where. Wo is where. Wo is where. So the same applies with work. Wo arbeiten Sie? Where do you work? Where do you work? And the informal is wo arbeitest du? Where do you work? Same thing, formal and informal. So we'll introduce in the by. Meet. Meet is for people and by is for other. Like other, it's the same with, it can take on at, with. Okay, so we have by. By is a preposition here. So ich arbeite bei Kawempe Regional Referral Krankenhaus. That is, I work with Malago Kawempe Regional Referral Hospital. Krankenhaus is a hospital. Or ich habe in Kaufhaus or in Reisebüro. Ich arbeite bei in der Hosanna Reisebüro. That is Hosanna Travel Agency. Okay, so more of that. That is what we'll be looking. And to encourage you that if you have stuck with me for all this while and you have not yet subscribed, right, please go ahead, like this video and subscribe, because if you even have a comment, please comment so that we can know how best we can improve this service. All right, so see you in the next video, and keep practicing, because it is practice that makes us perfect. You can't have this language if you don't practice. If you don't have anyone to practice with yourself. Mirror yourself and start practicing. So I wish you the best, and may God bless you in this journey. So stay tuned for our next series. If you do enjoy reading the newsletters, what is happening with my life in this German series, also go ahead and check out the links down below and check out the newsletter. Subscribe to it so you can get weekly newsletters. God bless you.